You gave me the letter. I guess it was July. You said we'll be better.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel today. I hope everyone is fine today. Today's lesson is going to teach us how to make this Maxi kimono dress you are seeing on the screen. This Maxi kimono dress, I'm going to make it using my pattern. I'm going to make the upper bodice pattern. Then we are going to cut the down part of the skirt on our fabric directly. Okay, so I'm going to make two patterns here. One is for my front and my back bodies on the same sheet or pattern paper, and then I'm going to also make my basic sleeve, which I'll be using to cut my sleeve of this maxi dress as you are seeing on the screen. Okay, so now you can see I already have my basic bodies here. I'm going to impute my neckline and my armhole line for the front and back. Okay, so I already have my 3 inches here neckline, and I have my 7.5 inches shoulder line, and these are my vertical measurements. As you can see, I have my bust point 10.5 and my waistline. So I'm using these two lines, my bust point and my half length. Then my chest line, I dropped 1 inch of my shoulder drop, and I have a round chest line, a round armhole of 16 inches divided by 8, or you can use your bust divided by 6 plus 1.5 to determine this. So now I'm going to create my back neckline. Okay, I'm using a 3 inches width of neckline for the back, and I'm using 1 inch for the depth. Now you can see I have my back neckline, and on the same point I'm going to place my front neckline. Okay, I have 3 inches. Using the same 3 inches, I'm going to connect it. This is my back neckline and this is my front neckline. Okay, to learn more about how to draft your basic bodies, I'll be dropping the basic bodies drafting on the description box below, or you can watch other videos to see how this is derived. So coming over to this armhole depth, I have 8 inches for my armhole, and I'm going to get the midpoint. This is the midpoint here, going in by 0.75 or 3/4. And now I'm going to place my tape on the chest line to determine my bust circumference divided by 4. I have a bust of 39 inches divided by 4. I have 9.75. I'll make my mark of 9.75. Point, this point to this point. I have my armhole for the front, and on the same point I'm going to determine my armhole for the back. Okay, I'm going in by 0.5. then I'll connect the same line. You can see I have my connections for my armhole and my neckline for the back and for the front. I really need this stylish kimono to be very free, very free. So I'm going to add 3/4 to what I have for my round bust divided by 4. So this is my 3/4 here, and I'm coming back to my waist to take my waist measurement of 36 divided by 4. This is, I have 9 inches, and I'm going to add 3/4 to it, or 0.75, because I actually want this kimono, the bodies, to be free, as you can see on the picture on the opening page. So I have my 3/4 added as is and 3/4 added as is. So I'm going to connect these two lines. Now I'm using, if you can see the plain fabric used. Okay, on that Ankara you are seeing on the opening picture is about 2 inches wide. Okay, or 2.5 inches wide. But in this case I'm going to make use of 2.5 inches. Okay, so for that reason I'm going to come down from the point of my shoulder. Remember, my neckline is 3 inches. So from the point of these 3 inches, I'm coming down by 0.5. okay, then I'll come down because I have a band. I'm working with a band of 2.5 inches. So I'm going to start on the waistline and I'll make a mark of 2.5 inches. Okay, so I'm going to connect this 0.5 all the way to the 2.5 inches I have here. You can see that now. This means when I'm cutting, I'll be cutting the front line, the front neckline through this part. Okay, so because I've moved a little bit by 0.5, then I'm going to reconnect my back line. Remember, I have 1 inch. I'm going to place it back. Let me use a different marker for you to see that. You can see that is where my back neckline will start. Okay, all right, so I'm going to cut off through this line. Okay, remember, no seam allowances are added already. Okay, so I have my 2.5 because that is the band I'm going to use, 2.5 band. Okay, which I'll fix all through as you are seeing it. So this 2.5, once I fix it, you see is going to touch the center front and the other one will also touch. Okay, two of them will be kissing each other at this 2.5. okay, now the next thing I'm going to do right now is to cut off my pattern for the front and for the back, but I'm going to cut the back first. I'm going to use this back, place it on the fabric, and you will see how I'm going to cut it off. But before I do that, I want to draft my basic sleeve. Okay, I already have my basic sleeves drafted anyway, so I'll also drop the description on the description box below. That's the link to that basic sleeve so that you see. So I'm going to use that basic sleeve to cut off this maxi sleeve you are seeing. Okay, so please watch. All right guys, so you can see I've cut out my bodies right now, but remember that this line is serving as my back line. Okay, so I need to contour this back line because I want to split the back into two. Okay, I will be having a split at the back. My bodies there will be in two pieces. All right, so from this point, as you are seeing me right now, I'm going to come in by 1/2 inch. Remember, there is no zipper. All right, you can see I'm done I've cut the back. Okay, the back part of this pattern. So I want to trim off this side. Okay, so that you not get confused. This is my waistline, and at this waistline I want to contour my back because I need this back to be in two pieces. So now I'm going to come in by 0.5 or 1/2 inch, and I'm going to connect this 1/2 inch as you are seeing me all the way to the neckline. Okay, so I'm going to cut off these parts. Okay, that is my contour line for the back. Now this is my center front right now, my new neckline for the front. So after, as I will place it on the file, you see how I'll cut it. Okay, don't worry about that. So let me cut off this contour line right now because the human body is not as straight as this. So all right, so you can see what I have right now. So this is the pattern I'm going to use to cut for my back and front. All right people, you can see I have my basic sleeve and this is my bodice pattern. So I'm going to make use of this fabric. Okay, this plain fabric, I'll be using it for the long strip you see at the front, and I'm using this African print for the bodies, the sleeve, and the skirt part of this stylish kimono. Okay, so now I'm going to cut my African print with the basic bodies, and I'll also show you how I'll be placing this basic sleeve on bias on this African print also to get that pattern of sleeve you are seeing on the opening picture. All right, lovelies, you can see I've cut my fabric. This is my back piece of the fabric of the bodice right now, and I have placed my bodice pattern on the fabric. You can see my seam allowances. For the back, I have 0.5, 0.5, 0.5, 0.5 to join the two pieces of the back together, 0.5 to join the skirt part, and 1 inch for the side seam. Okay, so now I'm going to take off this pattern, set this one aside, my back piece aside, and cut off through the front bodies right now, then place on my fabric and cut. All right, so I'm going to cut off my front piece. Okay, I'm going to cut through this way. Please watch. So I'm going to throw this part away. It's not part of our front bodies right now. Remember, we've cut off the back, so we don't need this piece again. Now I'm going to cut through my armhole for the front. You can see that. All right, so this is what we have right now for the front. So I'm going to place it on my fabric, and I'm going to add my seam allowances and cut. You can see what I have right now. Okay, this is my front bodies now, and I added 0.5 inch seam allowance to it. This half-inch seam allowance, I'm going to use it to attach my band. Okay, my long strip of band. Okay, this is my back. I'm going to close up this back with 0.5 inch. Remember, I added the back 0.5 when I was cutting it on my pattern. So I'm going to set this to our side right now. Then we are going to cut our sleeve and our down skirts. All right, people, it's time to cut our skirt part of this stylish kimono. Okay, and I'm going to place this fabric on bias. First of all, I want to show you that this fabric is folded in two first. You can see that, and this side is on fold. Okay, so now to fold this on bias, we are going to pick up this side. Can you see that? Pick it up at the tip. Okay, I think you are seeing what I'm doing. You'll be holding it this way. Can you see what I'm doing? Make sure it doesn't shift from that point. Okay, keep watching what I'm doing. Then you ensure that this part is firmly fixed to the part of the edge that is on fold. Okay, you can see that. So this is what we call like a triangle. That is what we call. All right, so you can see right now that I have this fabric for the skirt on bias, but then I'm going to make a little calculation. I have a waist circumference of 36 inches. Okay, so this 36 inches, I'm going to divide it by 6.28. that is standard for making a peplum. Okay, or making a flay rather. Okay, for having a flay you use 6.28. so having these 6.28, I have 5.7. 36 divided by 6.28 is 5.7 inches. So I'm going to place my tape at the tip of this, and I'll be measuring 5.7. but because I need to gather, if you look at that Maxi stylish kimono, you can see that it's really very full. Okay, it's gathered around it. All right, so I really need it to be very full. Okay, so I'll be timesing the result of this 36 divided by 6.28. I'm timesing the result. I have 5.7. I'll times by 3. Okay, so timesing it by 3, I have 17 points. So the reason I'm timesing this by 3, okay, assuming I just want a flay on that upper bodies, I could have just gone with 5.7, but because I need enough gathers to it, that is why I'm timesing by 3. If you look at that outfit, you can see it's well gathered and it's full at the skirt part of it. So I'll be placing my tape on the tip, as you can see me, and I'm going to take the measurement of 17.25 all around. Okay, 17 1/4. I'm going to use my chalk. All right, please watch how I'm taking this from the tip of this triangle. I'll be making 17.2. Please do not allow it shift at all, because you need to get your flay accurately. Okay, you can see how I'm flipping 2.5. Okay, you can see the line. I'm connecting the line to form my flare. Okay, so this is my flare right now. Let me cross check to see if it's correct at 17.25. okay, yes, it's correct. Okay, so I'm going to cut off through this line, but before I cut off, remember the length of that skirt part, that is from the waist to the length, because it's actually short. Okay, I'm taking 21 inches for that. So I'll place my tape here and I'll be making a mark of 21 inches. Please, I believe you are watching what I'm doing. 21 inches. I'll take it all around. You can see where I placed my tape. I'm placing it at this line, the 17.25 line. I'll be making a mark of 21 inches. Look at how I'm making the mark. I'll place at each end. I'll make a mark of 21 inches. I'll place at each end. Right, so you can see I have my flare part right now. So I'm going to cut off through this blue line and cut off through this blue line to form that flare you are seeing at the down part of that skirt. Then I'll also cut the down part of it. You can see what I have right now. Okay, so this is going to be my center front and this is going to be my center back. Okay, because I have the opening at the front, so the opening part of it will be at the center front. So I'll be making a notch here to identify my center back. I'll make a notch at the lower part of it to ensure that it's on a straight line. Alright people, you can see I want to cut my basic sleeve right now, but you can see that sleeve is really it's a maxi sleeve. Okay, and it's cut on bias also. So remember, I've told you how to place your fabric on bias. Okay, you are going to place it like a triangle. One side is folded, the other way. You just flip it over and make sure that the two edges are aligning to each other. Now you can see my basic sleeve right now. I'll be dropping the description, the link on the description box below on how this basic sleeve is made, so that you go and watch it. So now I'm placing the edge. This is the edge of this sleeve. Okay, I'll be placing it on the edge of this bias. You can see that. And as I'm doing that, I'm also making sure that I have my 1 inch. Okay, I will ensure I have my 1 inch. Okay, I will shift it to have exactly my 1 inch to join my sleeve. You can see I have it there right now. Alright, you can see what I have right now. Okay, I have both the two-piece sleeve here. These sleeves are two. I will be making both the inner and the front, that's right and left sleeve. But before that, I'm going to cut first. Okay, cut the shape. I'm cutting the shape of this sleeve. This is the back sleeve, as you can see. So having done this, I'm going to determine the length of this sleeve. So I'll be taking my measurement from the tip of this basic sleeve. Okay, I place my tape and I'll be taking my measurement. I'm taking the measurement of 25 inches because it's a bogus sleeve. I'm taking 25 inches for everything, both for my seaming, at the tip. Okay, so I'm taking 25 inches and I'll be placing my tape at 25 inches. Alright people, I'll be placing my tape at the tip of this basic sleeve and I'm going to take a measurement for that sleeve because it's actually a long sleeve maxi sleeve. I'll be taking 27 inches. I'll be flipping my tape to 27 inches. I'll keep marking from that point. Please don't allow your tape to leave the tip of this basic sleeve. So right, so as you can see now, I'm going to open up this side, okay, because I need to have 2 sleeves right here. So I'll be opening up because that is my center. This is my center sleeve, okay. So I'll remove my pin, okay. Then I'm opening up this sleeve. You can see how I opened it. This is my center sleeve. You make a notch to it, to your center sleeve. Then I'll be placing my sleeve at that notch. Remember, we have both the back and the front sleeve here. So you can see how this is matching exactly to this side. This shows that is my back sleeve. You can see I still have to cut off, okay, to get my front sleeve perfectly. So I'll be cutting off the excess. So I'm cutting off this excess to make my front sleeve. So I have my back and front sleeve ready right now, and I'll be using my chalk to identify. You can see I'm marking this side. I'm marking is my front part of the sleeve. So when I'm fixing, I'll fix this side on the front part. Please take notes. All right, people, you can see I have my sleeve now, okay, and this is the hem part or the down part of my sleeve. You might decide to leave it this way anyway, but I want to give it some shape, okay, because it might really be too big. The sleeve is actually big, but I don't want it to be too big, okay. So I'm going to take off from this point. I'm going to take off 5 inches. You can see I'm placing my tape from the tip of these two. Make sure your fabric is not shifting. You can see that. So I will mark 5 inches from here. I'm taking off 5 inches from my sleeve. It to this point. So at that point of 5 inches, I'll be placing my curve ruler. Can you see that? I'm placing my curve ruler at that point, okay, making sure that I have it curved to this part. Can you see the line? So now that I've marked that, I'm going to put my scissors and I'm going to cut off. All right, you can see what I cut off from that sleeve right now. So it has a little shape. I think it's better this way right now, okay. Having done with the sleeve right now, we are going to join our bodies. This is my back bodice and this is my front bodice, as you can see, okay. So remember, I have these bodies in 2 and I'm going to join them together. I'm going to flip it together. You know, this is the back and this is the front. I'll be kissing front to front, the wrong side to wrong side. All right, you can see I've secured my center back with my pin and I'm going to sew with 0.5, okay. Remember, we added our seam allowances of 0.5. So I'm going to my sewing machine and I'm going to follow this guideline and I'm going to sew 0.5 all through this way. Then I'll iron it open and bring for you to see. You can see I've joined my center back right now. I have the 2 pieces together as one piece, okay. Now I'm going to place my front. This is my front. I have 2 pieces of my front, as you can see, 2 of them. And now I'm going to take the front or the right side of this front and I'm going to pin it to the shoulder seam line. You can see. So I'll pin it at the shoulder seam line. I hope you can see. So I'm going to secure my pin all through this way. Then I'll go to my machine and seam iron open and bring it for you to see. All right, before going to the machine to sew, I decided to sew also pin my side seams. You can see my side seams now. I have my pin securing the side of my seam. And remember, in our drafting, we have 1 inch to sew our seam, okay. This is 1 inch and I made a mark. So remember, I told you of using your pattern ruler to make just exactly the way we use this pattern ruler on our paper. I love using it to connect to have a very nice shape. Okay, so I'll be connecting using my pattern ruler, the 1 inch seam allowance. Then I'm going to sew on this seam allowance, as you can see. All right, then I'll also go over to this side and place my pattern master just like we did also on the paper, and I'm going to mark my 1 inch seam allowance, and I'm going to sew on this chalk line. Okay, now I'm going to my sewing machine and I'm going to stitch the seam lengths, shoulder seam length, the side seams. I'll iron them open and then I'll bring it for the next step. All right, lovelies, you can see I have my bodies together, my front. This is my front and this is my back. Okay, you can see the seam joining the two backs together. Okay, this is one of my front and this is one of my front. So now the next thing we are going to do is to attach the gathers. Remember we made our flay. Remember the flay we made was ×3. Okay, and we worked with 36. You can see I have 18 inches here. Okay, my waist, round waist is 36, divided by 2 is 18. That is what we are having, 18 for back and 18 for front. Okay, so now we cut our flay using 6.28 and we times it by 3 because we need this peplon to be full around this waist. Okay, so I'm going to go to my sewing machine right now and I'm going to run my gathers all through my flay. Okay, I'll run it and I'll get the gathers to fit in with this 36 inches. Let me do that and bring for you to see. All right, I've run my gather stitches, as you can see. But remember, I made a notch to identify the center back of this flay. Okay, this is my notch. I'll be pinning my notch. I'll be using this pin to identify my notch right now because I'm going to place this at the center back of my back bodies. So I'm going to come from the end of one of these of my gather stitch and I'll gather. You can see how I'm gathering to the point of that pin. Can you see that? I'll keep taking my gathers evenly to that point. Okay, after doing that, I'll come over to this other end. So coming over to this side, I'm going to pick up my thread at the back. I have a video on how to make gathers. I'll be dropping the link of that video on the description box below for you to go through it and see how you can properly make your gathers. Okay, to make gathers is another technique in itself, so you need to go and watch so that you know how to make your gathers evenly. So I'll be taking these gathers, as you can see, down to the point of this center back where I have my pin. Okay, so having done that, I'm going to fix this center back to the back of my bodies. This is my front and this is my back. So I'm going to flip these bodies to the back because I want to attach my flay, my gathered flay. So I'm going to open up, as you can see. Then this is my pin. Okay, remember I secured this with a pin to identify the center back. You can see how I'm placing it. Can you see that? Okay, so I'm going to take it this way. I'm going to turn it this way. So this is my pin. Can you see that? Okay, my pin, and I'm going to place this notch on the, you can see the center back. Okay, that is where I'm going to place this notch. So having done that, I'm going to arrange my gathers. I'm going to arrange these gathers. All right, you can see I have my pins all over the gathers as well as my bodice back and front. Okay, so I'm going to stitch on top of the gather, the 0.5 gathers. Okay, as I fix them together, I'm going to stitch the bodies and the gathers, the flay gathers together. I'll do that to the end and iron it for you to see. Alright people, you can see I have my bodies and my gathers attached to each other. I have this gown now completed. So the next thing I'm going to do is to fix the plain strip of fabric, okay, that you saw on that picture. And I'm going to I have two pieces of it, as you can see. I have two of it this way, and I'm going to attach this to this. Okay, I'll flip the strip to this opening and I'll attach it. I'll make sure I start attaching it from the center back. Okay, it's going to go this way. But before I do that, I'm going to join these two pieces together. Okay, and I estayed it. Make sure you estay it properly. Then I'm going to place the right side to the right side. I'll fasten it with my pin, and I'll go to my machine and run my 0.5 or half an inch stitches to it. Iron it open, then attach it at this center back. You can see the center back. I've already ironed it open, so I'm going to place it here, then I'm going to run my stitches. But I need to take the measurement of this opening. Okay, I'm taking the measurements starting right from the center back. Okay, so I'll be placing my tape at the center back. I hope you are seeing what I'm doing. Okay, I'll flip here open. Already I have, for the center neckline, I have 3.5 already. Okay, this way I also have 3.5. that is, I have 7 inches at once. So since I'm starting from here, I have 3.5 to this point, so I'll be placing my tape to take the length of this gown, the measurement of the length of this gown. And you can see I have 37.5 inches plus 3.5 inches, meaning I have 41 inches length of strip. Okay, so this is my length of strip. Now that I've gotten 37.5, that is 3.5 plus the 37.5 I have right here, that is 41 inches. So I'm going to measure on this strip. I'm going to measure to the length of 41. This is my length of 41. As you can see, that this is 41. But remember, I'm going to stitch with 0.5. okay, so meaning that I'm going to have 41.5 inches here. All right, now remember, in our drafting, the width of this strip is 3 and 2.5 inches. That was what we drafted, but I have the width as 3 inches because I added ½ inch for seam allowance. I'll be using ½ inch to stitch this to this, so that is why I have 3 inches as a whole. So you are going to cut a strip of 41 inches by 3 inches, and you can see I doubled it. So if I have to open it up, I have 6 inches altogether. This is my 6 inches. You can see that. Then when you iron, you fold it together and iron, you have 3 inches here. Okay, so you'll be cutting a strip of 6 inches by 41 inches length, or you can make it 42 to avoid shortage. So I'm going to my machine right now, and I'm going to place the right side of this strip to the right side of this strip. I'm going to run my stitches, close it up, iron it open, and bring it for you to see. All right people, you can see I've stitched the two together and I've ironed it open, as you can see right now, with my stay to hold it in place. So now I'm going to fix these parts. I'm going to fix this part. Watch how I'm going to fix it. Okay, can you see that? I'll make sure that this line, the center stitch of the strip and the center back is together. Then I'll fasten it with my pin. Alright, you can see I've fastened my pin right now. So I'm going to sew from this point. Okay, I'm going to take my stitches 0.5 inch down to the hem. Okay, I think you see how I pinned it. You see how I flipped it. So after sewing it, I'll now have it this way. Okay, so let me sew it, iron it, and bring it for you to see. Alright, you can see I have my strip of fabric fixed firmly to this outfit right now. So I'm going to flip it open, then go to my weaving machine and weave all around this area, after which I'm going to top stitch. Okay, so I'm going to top stitch from the hem, take it all around to the other hem so as to have it fixed firmly on this outfit. Let me do the top stitch and bring it for you to see. Alright people, you can see what I have now. I've top stitched my strip to my outfit. So I'm going to fix my sleeve right now, then I'm going to hem the gown. Okay, that is the finished. I'll be showing you the finished product after fixing my sleeve right now and hemming my gown. Then you see the finished product. It's time to fix my sleeve to this Maxi stylish kimono, and now you can see I have my sleeve head. Okay, let me zoom my camera for you to see. I have a pin on the notch I made for my sleeve head. And remember that after cutting off this sleeve, I have a mark to identify my front sleeve. Okay, you can see the chalk showing that this part will be fixed on the front of my sleeve. So I have another plain band on the hem of this sleeve. Okay, so this is my band. I also made a band of 3 inches, that is 6 inches as a whole, because I'll be stitching with 0.5 this way, 0.5 this way. Okay, so I'll be stitching it and I'll have 2.5 remaining for me. Okay, so I took the measurement of this sleeve, starting all the way of the hem of the sleeve, starting all the way from the beginning to the end. Okay, and this is what I came out with. So I'm going to stitch on this. Let me show you how you do that. Now I'm going to pick up one of these sleeves, and then I'll also pick up one of my bands. You can see one of my bands right here. So I'm going to stitch. This is the wrong side of my sleeve and this is the right side. So I'm going to take my band, open up this band. You can see. Okay, you see I have opened up this band, and then I'm going to take my sleeve. Okay, I'm going to use my pin to fasten. I think you are seeing what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm going to use my pin, then I'll run my pin all through to the end, then I'll go to my machine and stitch it and bring it back for you to. I'm done stitching the band to my sleeve. Okay, so you can see this is what I have in here. Okay, these are my stitches, and I ran these stitches all through to the end of this sleeve. So you can see my crease line. You remember I ironed this into two parts because I'm going to flip it up. You can see I'm going to flip it up, okay, to form the hem of this sleeve. So I'm going to sew right now. As you can see me, I'm going to sew, put in 0.5. You see how I folded 0.5. Okay, so I'll be ironing 0.5. I'm going to iron it first. This 0.5 will be ironed, Then after ironing it, it will now be easy for you to place it on top of this stitch. Can you see that? After that, I'm going to place it on top of this stitch. Okay, then I'm going to run my stitch. Starting from the beginning, I'm going to run this stitch very closely, okay, to the end of this. So let me run my stitch, run my stitch, and bring it for you to see also. All right, you can see this is my stitches right now. I've turned it over like I told you before, and I've done my stitches, and I've completed this same. You can see how beautiful it's already looking. Okay, this is my sleeve hem right now, so I'm going to give it a good press. I'm going to iron it out. Okay, then after doing that, I'll be placing my sleeve head right at the pin point, okay, the point of the notch. You can see the notch here. Okay, so I'm going to pin it, then flip it over to check if I have my blue chalk mark. That is where I'll be fixing for the front. But before that, I need to close up this sleeve. You can see the sleeve is open, so I'm going to turn it around. Okay, you can see what I'm doing right now. So turning it around, I'll find out, get this point towards the sleeve head, the armhole side. I'm going to stitch with 0.5 inches, 0.5 inch. Now this is the belt. Okay, I'm going to sew a belt, 2 of them, and I have a belt of, the width of this belt, I'm using 7 inches for it, and the length of this belt, I'm using 60 inches for it. It's going to be 2 belts, which I'm going to fix at the center back of this dress, and I'll bring it to the front. It's going to be tied to the front. So as I have one piece of it, this is one piece of it, I'm going to fold it. Can you see that? I'm going to fold it this way. Then I'm going to start my stitches from this point. I'm going to take 0.5 inch, then I'll take 0.5 inch to the end of the belt. I'm going to leave the other part of the belt, the other end, open to enable me turn it. All right, so I'm going to do the same to the other piece of the belt. I'll also flip it and sew 0.5 down there. Okay, so I'm going to fix the end of this belt at the center back, and it will come over to the front, just as you can see on the screen, on the opening picture. All right, people, you can see I have my 2 belts right now. This is the side that is supposed to be opened, which I'm going to stitch, and this is the side I've already closed, which is going to form my belt for the front. Now I have my outfit right now. You can see it now. It's done already, as you can see. Now these are the sleeves. You can see the sleeve right now, which I'm going to attach. Can you see that? Okay, so I'm going to attach these sleeves. Having done these sleeves, I'm going to attach it. You can see the finished product of this gown. You can see how beautiful it's looking. Okay, you can see the strips and the belt. This belt is fixed at the back, at the center back, as you can see, and we are going to tie it at the front. You can see that. Okay, all you need to do is to bring it together. You can see how I'm tying it. You make sure you have a beautiful knot here. Okay. All right, you can see the funnel sleeve, so beautiful. All right. Alright people, this is the finished product of this kimono. You can see how beautiful it's looking. Please, if you love this content, kindly subscribe, turn on your notification bell, share this video to family and friends, like, drop your comments on the comment section, also your suggestions too. Okay, thank you very much for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.